still. In spite of all this, I will compete, for your taunts have stung me to the quick. So he hurried up, without even taking his cloak off, and seized a disc larger, more massive, and much heavier than those used by the Phrygians when disquarreling among themselves. Then, swinging it back, he threw it from his brawny hand and made a humming sound in the air as he did so. The Phrygians quailed beneath the rushing of its flight as it sped gracefully from his hand and flew beyond any mark that had been made yet. Athena, in the form of a man, came and marked the place where it had fallen. A blind man, sir, said she, could easily tell your mark by groping for it. It is so far ahead of any other. You may make your mind easy about this contest, for no Phrygian can come near to such a throw as yours. Odysseus was glad when he found he had a friend among the lookers on, so he began to speak more pleasantly. Young men, said he, come up to that throw if you can, and I will throw another disc as heavy or even heavier. If anyone wants to have a bout with me, let him come on, for I am exceedingly angry. I will box, wrestle, or run. I do not care what it is with any man of you all except Laodamas, but not with him because I am his guest, and one cannot compete with one's own personal friend. At least I do not think it is prudent or a sensible thing for a guest to challenge his host family at any game, especially when he is a foreign country. He will cut the ground from under his own feet if he does, but I make no exception as regards anyone else, for I want to have the matter out and know which is the best man. I'm a good hand at every kind of athletic sport known among mankind. I'm an excellent archer. In battle, I am always the first to bring a man down with my arrow, no matter how many more are taking aim at him alongside of me. Philoctetus was the only man who could shoot better than I could when we Irguns were before Troy in any practice. I far excel everyone else in the whole world of those who still eat bread upon the face of the earth. I should not like to shoot against the mighty dead, such as Hercules or Eurystheus, the Ogygian men who could shoot against the gods themselves. This, in fact, was how Eurystheus came prematurely by his end, for Apollo was angry with him and killed him because he challenged him as an archer. I can throw a dart farther than anyone else and shoot an arrow. Running is the only point in respect of which I am afraid some of the Phrygians might beat me, for I have been brought down very low, and I see my provisions ran short, and therefore I am so weak. They all held their peace except Alcinous, who began, sir, we have had much pleasure in hearing all that you have told us, from which I understand that you are willing to show your prowess, as having been displeased with some insolent remarks that have been made to you by our athletes, and which could never have been uttered by anyone who knows how to talk of propriety. I hope you apprehend my meaning and will explain to any one of your chief men who may be dining with yourselves and with your family. When you get home that we have a hereditary aptitude for accomplishments of all kinds. We are not particularly remarkable for our boxing, nor yet as wrestlers, though we singularly fleet of foot, are excellent sailors, and we are extremely fond of good diners, music, and dancing. We also like frequent changes of linen, warm baths, and good beds. So now please, some of you who are the best dancers, set about dancing our guests on his return home. Maybe you will tell us his friends how much we surpass all other nations of sailors, runners, dancers, and minstrels. Demodocus has left his lyre at my house, so run someone or other of you and fetch it for him. On this servant hurried off to bring the lyre from the king's house, and the 9 men who had chosen as stewards stood forward. It was their business to manage everything connected with the sports, so they made the ground smooth and marked and wide the space for the dancers. Presently the servant came back with Demodocus' lyre, and he took his place in the midst of them. But all the best young dancers in town began foot and tread nimbly that Odysseus was delighted with the very twinkling of their feet. Meanwhile, the bard began to sing the loves of Ares and Aphrodite, and how they first began entertaining the house of Hephaestus. Ares made Aphrodite many presents, and defiled King Hephaestus' marriage bed, so that the son who saw what they were about told Hephaestus. Hephaestus was very angry when he heard such dreadful news, so he went to his smithy, brooding this got his great handmill in its place, and began to forge some chains, which none could either unloose or break, so that they might stay there in that place. When he had finished this there, he went into his bedroom and fastened the bedpost all out with chains like cobwebs. He also let many hang down from the great beam of the ceiling. Not even a god could see them, so fine and subtle were they. As soon as they had spread the chains all over the bed, he made he was setting out for the fair state of Lemnos, which of all places in the world was the one he was most fond of. But Ares kept no blind lookout, and as soon as he saw him, started or hurried off to his house, burning with love for Aphrodite. Now Aphrodite was just coming to visit her father Zeus, and was about sitting down. Ares came inside the house and said as he took his hand in his own, let us go to the couch of Hephaestus. He is not at home, but has gone off to Lemnos, among the Citizenians, whose speech is barbarous. She was nothing loath, so they went to the couch to take their rest, and around they were cut, and toils was cutting. Hephaestus had spread for them, and could neither get up nor stir hand or foot, but found too late when they were in the trap. Then Hephaestus came up to them, for he had turned back before reaching Lemnos. When his scouts of son told him what was going on, he was in furious passion, and stood in the vestibule, making a dreadful noise as he shouted to all the gods. Father Zeus, he cried, and all you other gods who live forever, come here and see this ridiculous and disgraceful sight that I will show you. Zeus's daughter, Aphrodite, is always dishonoring me because I am lame. She's in love with Ares, who is handsome and clean built, whereas I am crippled. But my parents are to blame for that, not I, and they ought never to have begotten me. Come and see the pair together outside my bed, and it makes me furious to look at them. They are very fond of one another, and I do not think they will lie there longer than they can help, nor do I think that they will sleep much. There, however, they will stay, till her father has repaid me the sum I gave her from his baggage of a daughter, who is fair but not honest. All the gods gathered to the house of Hephaestus. Earth encircling Poseidon came, and Hermes, the bringer of luck, and King Apollo, and led the gods to stay at home, all of them for shame, and then the givers of all good things stood in the doorway, and blessed God's reward with inexhaustible laughter, as they saw how cunning Hephaestus had been, whereon one would turn towards his neighbor, saying, ill deeds do not prosper, and the weak confound the strong. See how living Hephaestus, lame as he is, has caught Ares, who is the fleetest god in heaven, and now Ares will be cast in heavy damages, thus the day converse. But King Apollo said to Hermes, messenger Hermes, giver of good things, you would not care how strong the chains were, would you, if you could sleep with Aphrodite? King Apollo, answered Hermes, I only wish I might get the chance, though. There were 3 times as many chains you might look on, all of you gods and goddesses, but I would sleep with her if I could. The mortal gods burst out laughing as they heard him, but Poseidon took it all seriously, and kept on imploring Hephaestus to set Ares free again. Let him go, he cried, and I will undertake as you require, that he shall pay you all the damages that are held reasonable among the mortal gods. Do not, replied Hephaestus. Ask me to do this as a bad man's bond is bad security, what remedy could I enforce against you if Ares should go away and leave his debts behind him, along with his chains? Hephaestus said, Poseidon, if Ares goes away without paying his damages, I will pay you myself. So Hephaestus answered, in this case I cannot and must not refuse you. Thereon he loosed his bonds and bound them, and as soon as they were free, they scampered off Ares of Thrace, and after loving Aphrodite to Cyprus, and to Paphos, where his herd rode, and pulled her fragrant of burnt offerings. Here the graces raised her, and anointed her with an oil of ambrosia, such as the mortal gods made use of, and they clothed her in the raiment of the most enchanting beauty. Thus sang Bard and both Odysseus and Caesar and Grecians were charmed as they heard him. Then Alcinous told Laodamas and Helios to dance alone, for there was no one to compete with them. So they took them all for the polybus had made for them, and one of them bent himself backwards, threw out among the clouds, and while the other jumped off the ground and caught it.